I'm here with the two founders of Novawulf, Jason New, Michael Abate, and joining us from San Francisco is the founder of Figure, Mike Cagney. So glad to have you all here. Jason and Michael, why have you wanted to get involved in the Celsius restructuring?
Mike and I both have a distressed investing background, and we've transitioned our careers now to focus on digital assets. But when you started to have a series of bankruptcy filings, Three Arrows, Voyager, Celsius, etc., it was natural for us to get involved and take a look at investing in claims that trade basically in the secondary market. And then as we dug into Celsius's assets, we recognized that there are a lot of illiquid assets. There are operating businesses, specifically their mining and staking businesses, that we think are better suited to reorganize as opposed to liquidate. So that was really a key catalyst for us, was the ability to have a scaled operation that can reorganize and come out of Chapter 11 as a going concern in a regulatory compliant manner. Also, we started really listening to the community. We've listened to the Twitter spaces, to the town halls. We are a creditor ourselves. So we've heard this desire to have a liquid option, but also not lose sight of the fact that there's a large operating business here that can be rebuilt and restarted and hopefully generate significant value for the creditor community.
Well, I go a step further and say that the assets of Celsius are much stronger together, right? The amount of value that would get destroyed in a liquidation or a more organized disbursement of those assets. And it's important to realize that this entity will have a market cap of around $2 billion upon emergence. That'll make it the second biggest publicly traded crypto company in the world behind Coinbase.
So Mike, take us through a basic definition. What is Figure?
At Figure, we believe blockchain is the most transformational technology to impact financial services in our lifetime. And that belief is fundamentally rooted in two characteristics of blockchain: the ability to use native digital assets to displace trust with truth. So I can look to that asset, know for certain its ownership, its composition, its history, and the ability for two parties to transact bilaterally without current counterparty risk. And when we intersect these two things, we can create marketplaces where we're agnostic to our counterparty. And if you look at financial services and you think about how the ecosystem works, it's almost entirely intermediate marketplaces. With blockchain, you're talking about a massive disintermediation of marketplaces that translates to trillions of dollars of market capitalization being reallocated to the technology. And so at Figure, we are looking at different ways to lean in and bring this into production and demonstrate the efficacy of this technology, both in terms of revenue opportunity and also cost improvement.
I want to ask you quickly here, Mike, why are you and your team getting involved with the Celsius restructuring?
The first is really rooted in the Celsius community itself. The people participating in Celsius are really there because they see a true path of a decentralized financial ecosystem. And it's something that we have a strong passion about as well, just given our view of blockchain and its disruptive nature. Having the opportunity to work with that community and bring solutions to market that are truly decentralized blockchain native applications is extremely exciting for us and for our team. And so we're excited to be able to apply that technology in a way that's consistent with what the underlying thesis of Celsius and Novawulf's blockchain ambitions are. Trying to do this on the NASDAQ or the NYSE would be a little orthogonal given the whole focus of blockchain itself. And I think lastly, the ability to partner with Novawulf. So any circumstance or situation we can get where we can partner with good operators with strong capital backgrounds, where we can lean in and do something big and transformational, we get excited about.
Jason, why are you partnering with Figure and Provenance for this next chapter?
So we think there's a really interesting opportunity to create the first truly digitally native equity. So something that you think of like a stock, like Apple stock, but to have that trade in a different format. So it'll trade on the Provenance blockchain. And really, Mike and his team are the ideal partners because they built all the infrastructure to allow this trading to happen in a regulated way. I don't personally believe this could happen in a different format because you need all the regulated plumbing that will allow for this digitally native equity security to trade. And fortunately for us, Mike Cagney and his team have put all that together already. And we're really excited to be one of the first equity securities trading in this manner. The bigger opportunity is going to be taking a lot of assets that are currently illiquid, putting them on blockchain rails and creating liquidity. allowing trading in those markets. And so we really want to be providing the capital to these new rails as more and more things are put on these platforms.
To get these individual markets or businesses to work, you need capital, you need operation capability. And so Novawulf is an extreme complement to that, in the sense that they could lean in just as easily on the lending side in terms of what we do with credit and securitization as they could on the marketplace side in terms of what we do for securities trading. So it's a very synergistic relationship, I think complementary. And fundamentally, that's really what roots the teams together, is that we're looking at this as not a trade, but as a long-term opportunity to create something massively transformational.
There is still so much skepticism and fear around this part of the marketplace. How are you answering that?
The community is very supportive of the asset class broadly, which we think is great because it's good to have shareholders and partners that believe in your vision. This is a group of folks who've lost a lot of money with legacy management. So is there any relationship or overlap between Mike and I and Mike Cagney and legacy management? The answer to that is absolutely not.
So completely new management,
completely new board. Completely new board, a board that will be appointed by the creditors or in the community.
So community chosen.
Community chosen board, our boss is the board. So we think that's really important. And as a regulated public filing company, the things that have happened with this company historically, because there was no disclosure, will not and cannot happen going forward.
As we talk about final thoughts and starting this new chapter for this new company, what is your ideal, let's just say, even 3 to 5 years from now?
Look, we have the huge benefit of starting with one of the largest Bitcoin miners in the world that will have no debt, which is a little bit unusual, and will have a lot of liquidity on its balance sheet. So the ability to play offense, even within the Bitcoin mining universe or sector, we're very well positioned to do that. The other thing we have is a very large staking business of Ethereum. That we think will act as a cornerstone to allow us to build other things on top of that business as well. But those two businesses alone should produce pretty significant cash flow under today's pricing environment. And then what we want to do is build other businesses where we're deploying capital in a prudent way, where we're bringing new assets onto blockchains. And they could be real world assets like mortgages, loans, et cetera. Or it can be other assets that are more digitally native, that are actually cash flow productive, et cetera, and we can invest in those as well. So we think there's a huge opportunity to really build the business from two main pillars we have right now in mining and staking.
And with our backgrounds, we have the opportunity to be the consolidators, right? We will go through the other distressed opportunities, and we can really ensure that we're maximizing the value of our operating businesses given the current environment.
So obviously, huge aim for great profitability, but also the stake in the ground for being a best practices firm in this sector. You are following the rules that everyone understands as being fair and transparent.
Correct. A lot of people have just taken a view, it's better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission within this space. And we have the exact opposite philosophy. As a fiduciary of third-party capital, for 25, 30 years, Mike have had that, and I've had that role, and you have to do it in a very regulatory compliant way.
Jason New, Michael Abate, thank you very much. And thank you to Mike Cagney, who is joining us from San Francisco.